Tell us about your PDF experience. Visual SDK application in Visual Studio with XAML and C Sharp. Article 05/21/2024. In this introduction to the Visual Studio Integrated Development Environment, IDE, you'll create a Hello World app that runs on any Windows 10 or later device. To do so, you'll use a Windows App SDK, WinUI 3, project template, extensible application markup language, XAML, and the C Sharp programming language. 7 Note: WinUI 3 is the native UI platform component that ships with the Windows App SDK, completely decoupled from Windows SDKs. For more information, see WinUI 3. If you haven't already installed Visual Studio, go to the Visual Studio Downloads page, install it for free. Prerequisites: you need Visual Studio to complete this tutorial. Visit the Visual Studio Downloads page for a free version, workloads and components required for developing with WinUI and the Windows App SDK. To verify or install a workload in Visual Studio, select Tools, Get Tools and Features. For more information, see Change Workloads for individual components. On the Workloads tab of the Visual Studio installer, select the following workloads and components: Visual Studio 2022 version 17.10 and later foresee #app development using the Windows App SDK. Select Windows Application Development. Create a project. First, create a WinUI 3 project. The project type comes with all the template files you need before you've even added anything. 1. Open Visual Studio, and on the Start window, choose Create a New Project. 2. On the Create a New Project screen, enter WinUI in the search box, choose the C Sharp template for blank app, packaged, WinUI 3 in desktop, and then choose Next. 3. Give the project a name, Hello World, and choose Create. 7. Note if this is the first time you have used Visual Studio to create a Windows App SDK app, a settings dialog box might appear. Choose Developer Mode, and then choose Yes. Visual Studio installs an additional developer mode package for you. When the package installation is complete, close the settings dialog box. Create the application. It's time to start developing. You'll add a button control, add an action to the button, and then run the Hello World app to see what it looks like. Add a button to the design canvas. 1.in the Solution Explorer. Double-click main window. XAML to open the XAML markup editor. The XAML editors where you can add or change markup. Unlike UWP projects, WinUI 3 doesn't have a design view. 2. Review the button control nested within the stack panel at the root of the window. Change the label on the button. 1.in the XAML editor. Change button content value from Click Me to Hello World. 2. Notice that the button has a click event handler name me button _click specified. 2. We'll get to that in the next step. Modify the event handler. An event handler sounds complicated, but it's just another name for code that is called when an event happens. In this case, it adds an action triggered by the Hello World button. 1. In Solution Explorer, double-click main window. XAML.cs. The code behind page. 2. Edit the event handler code in the C Sharp editor window that opens. Here is where things get interesting. The default event handler looks like this. Let's change it so it looks like this. Here's the code to copy and paste. C hashtag privateasing void new button underscore click. Object sender. Routed event entity. Bar welcome dialog equals new content dialog. Title equals hello from hello world. Content equals welcome to your first Windows App SDK app. Close button text equals okay. XAML root equals my button dot XAML root. Await welcome dialog dot show async. What did we just do? The code uses the content dialog control to display a welcome message in a modal pop-up control within the current window. For more information on using Microsoft.UI, XAML, controls.content dialog, see content dialog class. Run the application. It's time to build, deploy, and launch the Hello World Windows App SDK app to see what it looks like. Here's how. 1. Use the play button. It has the text Hello World package to start the application in the local machine. Alternatively, you can choose debug to start debugging from the menu bar or press F5 to start your app. 2. View your app, which appears soon after a splash screen disappears. The app should look similar to this image. 3. Select the Hello World button, where Windows 10 or later device will display a message that says, welcome to your first Windows App SDK app, with the title, Hello from Hello World. Click on to dismiss the message. For .to close the app, select the Stop Debugging button in the toolbar. Alternatively, choose Debug Stop Debugging from the menu bar, or press Shift plus F5. Next steps. Congratulations on completing this tutorial. We hope you learned some basics about Windows App SDK, WinUI 3, and the Visual Studio IDE. To learn more, continue with the following tutorial. Tutorial: create a simple photo viewer with WinUI 3. See also: writing apps for Windows, selecting a development technology. Windows App SDK overview. Windows App SDK / WinUI 3 samples. Feedback. Was this page helpful? Yes. No. Tutorial: create your first universal Windows platform application in Visual.